Everyone knows the story of Alice in Wonderland, but what about what happened afterwards? Returning from Wonderland, Alice shared her story with her parents, who promptly drove her to a mental hospital, believing that Alice's delusions were an indication of her schizophrenia. Perhaps the ventricles in Alice's brain were enlarged. Alice walks through the door of the mental hospital and is escorted by a doctor to her room. A girl, who oddly resembled a white rabbit, walks in. She seems a little jittery and nervous, but the white rabbit lies down. However, when an alarm goes off, the white rabbit jumps up, yells hysterically about something she's late for, and darts out of the room. As Alice walks to get her medicine, she wonders whether or not the white rabbit has a panic or anxiety disorder. While Alice waits in line for her medicine, she notices a tall and lanky man waiting in front of her. The man reminds her of a certain caterpillar she had seen before. The doctor, behind the medicine window, asks the caterpillar what his name is. The caterpillar repeatedly asks, "Who are you?" as he turns to face Alice. "Who are you?" he asks again, but then wanders off muttering, "Who am I? Who am I?" Alice thought that maybe the caterpillar was suffering from dissociative fugue, since he didn't appear to remember who he was. After Alice takes her medicine, a drug called Haldol, because she is a schizophrenic, the doctor directs her to group therapy. On her way to group therapy, she meets another guy who looked a whole awful lot like the Cheshire Cat. This cat seemed very charming and kind, and he escorted Alice to her therapy group. But the cat's charming nature was really just a guise. The cat was only helping Alice in order to earn points for himself with the hospital. Little did Alice know, but the Cheshire Cat had been diagnosed with antisocial disorder. As Alice enters therapy, she is surprised to see only 2 other people in the room. One had this crazy, mad-looking hat. The other looked like a hare. The Mad Hatter skipped up to Alice in an obvious manic mood. The Mad Hatter commented on what a wonderful world they all lived in, with barely enough time to do everything she needed to do. But then the hare sombered up to the Hatter and Alice, looking very glum. She said that the world was a terrible place, with no real purpose to living at all. The Hatter sullenly agreed, and the pair sulked back to the corner. Alice left the room to go to lunch. She heard what she thought was 2 people arguing with each other, but when she entered the cafeteria, she saw only one boy arguing with himself. It was as if 2 different personalities were trapped inside one body. Perhaps this boy had multiple personality disorder. Alice's medication had sort of killed her appetite, but a tart at the dessert table had caught her eye. When she reached for the last tart, a woman, ordained in hearts, stepped in front of her. She scolded Alice for trying to steal her tarts, and informed Alice that only she, the Queen of Hearts, was worthy of the tart. Thankfully, the doctor interrupted the Queen's narcissistic rant and sent Alice to her room. Alice realized that her medication had made her drowsy, so she lied down in bed. As she drifts to sleep, she smiles and reflects on all the people she met that day. She relishes the fact that even though she is in Psycholand, she never really left Wonderland.